Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag Fluff-a-torium. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag Fluff-a-torium. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag Fluff-a-torium. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag Fluff-a-torium. Show.
And action, Bowie. You're a baby girl. You're a good girl. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Okay, off you get now, Bowie, please. Yes, you do. You need to jump down. Come on. I'll help you. Oh, it's very high. Oh gosh, microphone. Hang on, everyone. I've just thrown Betty's blanket on top of the microphone. Dramatic dramas first thing on a Sunday morning. Actually, we've already had quite a few, to be honest. We accidentally locked my daughter and her boyfriend out of the house.
Shame.
What else has happened, Chris? And also, it's all moved around in here this week. So Chris was over there, and I used to be able to see him, and now he's over there, and I can't see him. I can hear him.
Shame.
I can hear him just, but I can't see him. Anyway, I hope you were all well. Oh, now she always has a funny 5 minutes after she's been on camera. Well, don't we all know? I hope you're all well. Excusez-moi. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are making amazing macrame table mats. I'll tell you the story of this actually. My other daughter asked me what I'd like as a Christmas present, and I said, I'd really like some new table mats because we've just painted the table in the conservatory. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen the drama with the paint colour. Anyway, that's now sorted. Anyway, could I find any table mats that I actually really liked? I decided I kind of wanted either natural ones or I wanted yellow ones, but being obsessed with a scalloped edge, you know, these things are difficult to manage, but I had to have one with a scallop. I couldn't find one with a scalloped edge. Cut a long story short, got some, didn't like them, sent them back. Anyway, thought, I was just, sat looking at this one day in the studio thinking, hang on a minute, I'll make my own. I always think that. I was thinking, I can make that, I'll just make my own. Anyway, here we go. A couple of weeks later, here's my finished macrame table mat with the scalloped edge, of course. So I know some of you have bought the kit now to make these. So you can make 4 of these out of one of our kits, or you could make 2 of these and some little coasters to go with them, okay? And the colours are all on the shelf behind me that we do them in, so you can choose different colours. There's a blue, there's a lovely olive green actually, which I really like. Hang on, how to point the wrong way when you can't see what you're doing. It's a lovely olive green. That's the yellow I'm using. There's a pink. I can't do it. There's a blue.
Left a
there's
bit,
a beige.
right a bit,
It's
left
really
a bit.
Weird doing that. Anyway, and they all come with a green felt back, and then I'm going to show you how to do my favourite thing in the whole world, bullion stitch. I put it on Instagram yesterday as billion stitch because I typed too quickly. Bullion stitch rows, which I will also be talking about later on my new Mexican hearts kit, because that's on there as well. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So without further ado, I've got one that I have already done to show you how you finish that off. So we'll come to that in a minute. But what you start with is a square of the green felt. So you get enough felt to make 4, as I mentioned. They are 29 centimetres in diameter plus the scallops. Okay, so quite sizable, very pretty. And yeah, 29 centimetres. So basically you want your square of felt to be about 30 centimetres square. And then you need to find the central point. Well, how do you do that, Gillian? Well, you can do it with a ruler if you like, or a tape measure. Or you can fold it into quarters and mark it with a pin. I know, how sensible is that? So that's what I've got on the table here. Then here's my macrame cord. Now I am going to be using, wait for it.
Gem tack for all your sticky needs.
I don't know why I'm mouthing that.
I love saying that.
He loves it. He actually wanted to make a little jingle for it this week. Anyway, we didn't.
I haven't paid us.
You're desperate to get some sponsorship from Gem Tack.
Absolutely. Nobody else will do because they fulfil all my sticky needs.
I don't think it's ever going to happen. But anyway.
I think maybe we should run a petition.
Anyway, so I'm going to be using Gem Tack, but you could also use a glue gun, okay? And that's fine. Glue guns, I love glue guns, but they're just a bit immediate, aren't they? And hot. So I don't really like using them live on this now. But also, I do feel like in this instance that the Gem Tack, because obviously it's going to dry a little bit more slowly, might give you a bit more kind of time. That's what we need, isn't it? Time. Anyway, so I'm going to use the Gem Tack, okay. What else do you need? I think, well, everything comes in the kit that you need apart from the glue. Okay, so you will need the glue, obviously. And then I've just put a little pin. If you can go to the overhead now, my sweets, please. Bing! So I have just put a little pin in the middle of my square, okay. Apologies for my manicure this week. I did it very late last night and I think it was in the dark because I haven't done a very good job. Anyway, that's kind of beside the point. Doesn't really matter, does it? Now, here's a top tip. When you're starting off coiling this in the middle, I'm just going to do that actually. I've got a central point. Just do that. When you start off coiling this in the middle, you can leave a hole, all right, like that, because you're going to be putting your, after you've done it, you're going to be putting your little rose in the middle. And if you want it to lie completely flush and flat to put your plates on, then that's what you need to do. Although I have to say, with the one, oh, I was just going to show everyone then, Chris. You're so hot on the cutting.
Just
go back. Okay. So I have to say, the one that I've done here, okay, it does stand proud a little bit, if you can see that. But it's fine. You could put your cup on it. There's my cup of pins. What could you put on it? Oh no, here we go. This is better. Here's my glass of water, look. Oh, look at that. It's a bit wobbly. Actually, look, I tell you what, when you put a plate on it, there we go. Anyway, you might want to do it flush is what I'm saying, all right? So let me move that one out of the way. Okay, so when you're starting off in the middle, you can leave a little hole. All right, so now I know where my central point is. What I'm actually going to do is just going to plop some glue down on there, okay, to get going. And I am just going to leave a little hole in this one and see if I can make it sit flush. All right, so I'm just going to put a little bit there. Now, this is terribly pleasing, is one thing I would say, okay? So all you're going to do is you're going to pop your Gem Tack or whichever glue you're using.
There's other glue? Is that another possibility?
Yes,
there's other glues other than
what
Gem
you
Tack?
do need to make sure, however, if you're leaving a hole in the middle, is that this is perfectly round, because you don't want to end up with an oval, okay? So do make sure that this hole in the middle is perfectly round. I think you could probably eyeball that. The other thing I would say about the Gem Tack is that if you do get a little bit on the top of the mat, it doesn't matter too much because it dries clear, okay? So it's not the end of the world if that happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just carry on plopping this around. So you can see what I tend to do is I just lay one round at a time, one round's worth of glue at a time, and I just glue as I go. So what you want to do is just have enough glue so that you can lay down the cord, but you don't want so much glue that you end up getting it up in between, really, because it's then more likely to sit on top and you don't really want that. So I'm just going to keep it quite close and go round, okay, like so. And what you'll notice is the macrame cord is quite twisted, just the nature of the cotton, okay, and really you want to keep it twisted here, okay, so you don't want it to untwist like this, because as you can see the separate strands would separate if that happened. So do keep it twisted, and you might find that as you uncoil it from the roll, it does feel a bit curly and coiled, but that's fine. Keep it curly and coiled, okay, because you want that, and it gives it a nicer look, I think, as you when it's finished. So I'm just going to carry on just blobbing. So if you were doing this with the hot glue gun, I'd say you'd probably do half a coil at a time, and then you want to get it stuck right down. I'm just going to uncoil a little bit more. Okay. And then around there like that. And I'm just going to do a couple more of these, and then I'm going to move on, because obviously this is very repetitive. But what I would say about it is that it's quite relaxing, actually, and it's quite pleasing, because it's like flat, and it's just pleasing, isn't it, Christopher? Is it pleasing to watch?
Oh yes, it's like one of those. Oh God, I've forgotten the name of them now. Those things that you watch and listen to.
Yes, where that man rakes the sand.
Yes.
I have found myself watching him sometimes. Is
Have
it a man
you?
or a woman?
It's
I don't
a man.
know. Is it a man? He's Japanese, isn't he?
Well, he lives in California.
Oh, does he?
But,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Anyway, yeah, it's quite zen-like. It's a bit like watching someone doing the ironing.
What would you know about that?
It's true, actually. No one ever irons anything in her house. But do you know what? I remember my mother doing the ironing, actually, if she's watching. I remember you doing the ironing in the kitchen. Not that I ever sat and watched her, actually. It's not the sort of thing I would do. But I would say that it's just, well, if you watched someone doing it, it's probably a bit like that. But yeah, it's very pleasing to do anyway. And it's also very simple. Okay. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's very satisfying. That's the word. Okay, I'm just going to unwind a little bit more. And you can see it's just slightly curly when I unwind it. Maybe we'll just do a little coaster-sized one here. And then I'm just going to carry on. Just do another half, and then I'll move on. I don't want anyone yawning or losing interest here, okay? Right, okay. And so on and so forth. And you can see I have got a little bit of the glue here, all right? But because I've left my little hole in the middle, I think that's just going to sit a bit more flush once it's done, all right? Okay, so once you have... Do you want to come back to me a sec, my darling Christoph? Thank you. Once you have done that, what I tend to do is leave it to dry until once I've got to the very outer bit and it's 29 centimetres across, I leave it to dry because it actually feels quite damp with all of that glue on the felt. And I leave it to dry upside down, all right? So I'm actually just going to move this one out of the way now and slide my other one into place. Move over there. And I've got this one actually sitting on a cutting mat because I was using a very sharp scalpel to cut out, which you don't need. You can use scissors, okay? I was using a craft knife, just because I've got one, okay? So when you get to the very outside, okay, now the thing I don't know now, actually let's move the cutting mat so that I can see my mark on the table. There we go, all right. So what you need to do now is cut off the outside of the felt. But what you don't do is you don't cut the cord, okay? Don't cut the cord because we're going to make the scallops with it. Well, obviously it's optional. You don't have to make scallops. But if you want to make scallops, don't cut the cord yet. Okay, right. So what I've done is I've basically cut it out. If you can go back to the overhead for me, please, Chris. What I'll do actually is I'll just continue this with scissors to show you that that is entirely possible. You do not need a craft knife. This was the little sort of scalpely craft knife I was using. It's ever so sharp, actually. Any craft knife would do. And then I'm just actually going to show you how a pair of sharp scissors is just as good. Now, if you don't want to see any of this green felt poking out from underneath, then make sure you don't put the glue too near the edge on the very edge. I mean, I don't mind seeing a little bit of it poking out. But what you want to do is you just want to snip around where you've got it.
I think you might need to move that into the middle, Gillian,
sorry,
for the
darling.
people on Instagram.
Yeah, sorry. There we go. All right, so you just want to snip around, okay, leaving the cord. So it's going to look like that on the back. All right, so let me just get rid of that bit there. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it over. Let me try and get it in the right place. Hopefully that's the right place for the grammars. Right, you can see all the coils. And it's all nice and dry. I actually did this bit yesterday, but I did the outer bit this morning, so I think it's all right though. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now, I'm just going to move it slightly that way, so hopefully the Instagrammers can see, is going to show you how to do these scallops. All right, so what you want to do is, ideally, is measure, I think in the instructions, I think it's every 6 centimetres or something like that. Yes, there. And then what I did was I got a little dressmaker's pin, and I just popped that through the cord and into the table mat like that. Then I get my gem tack. Okay. Have I got this in the right place for the close-up, darling? Go to the close-up a sec.
No, you need to move it over a little bit to your left.
Go on then. There. Okay. And then I just do a little blob of glue. Now, when you're doing this, be careful you don't glue the pin. Okay. So make sure the pin is not involved in the glue. Otherwise, you won't get the pin out, because gem tack, cue Christopher.
Sorry, he was reading messages. Gem tack for all your sticky needs.
Because gem tack will glue metal to fabric.
Will it? Metal to fabric. Gem tack. It's amazing.
So you need to be careful, because you don't want to glue your pins in. It's not a good look, having your pins glued in. All right, so I'm just going to measure another 6 centimetres. Okay. And then I'm going to put my next pin in, comme ça. And then I'm going to do my next blob. Am I in the right place? Oops, sorry. So I've moved it. It's now come out. Oh, golly. Okay, let's push that back in again. And then I'm going to do my next blob of glue. Okay. And then so on and so forth. Okay, so you would then go round the whole goddamn table mat. Okay, so from there to here, and so on and so forth. Okay, and that's all there is to it, folks, apart from one last thing that I'm going to show you. Moving this one out of the way. Slight blue piecer, isn't it? And then here's one I prepared earlier, which is my finished one. Okay, so I just want to show you the back of this and show you, because you'll think, well, what do I do with the end once I've cut it off? Here's what you do with the end, my friends. Whoopsie. Right, so as you can see on the back of this one, that's finished, here is my end, all right, that I have then brought down, and I've cut out a little piece of the spare felt into a little square. Might the screen slightly darker, I do apologise. And I've stuck it on top with some glue, all right? And it's as simple as that. So that will hold it down. And there you are, that's done. So then moving swiftly on then to how you do the little rose in the centre, which I just think finishes it off rather nicely. Okay, so you'll have loads of bits of felt left over at the end, a bit like this. So all you're going to do is you're going to cut a little square out of it. Doesn't need to be very big. An inch or so. I've done mine slightly bigger, but you know, poetic license. And then you're going to need the pack of yarn darners that are in your kit. Okay, love a yarn darner, as you know. I use it for a lot of things. I use it for the bullion stitch because although you're meant to use a milliner's needle, the reason being the milliner's needle has the eye pretty much the same width, if you like, as the body of the needle, i.e. the eye doesn't stick out. The smallest yarn darn in the pack is pretty similar, and of course if you're using a yarn or a thicker thread than a lot of people will use with a milliner's thread, then you will need a bigger needle. That's how it works, guys. So I find the yarn darner works very well for this. Okay, so that's what you've got in your kit, and you've also got 3 different colours of cotton embroidery thread. yellow for the centre, and then 2 pinks for the outers. And then we very cleverly cut the little leaves out of the green bit of felt. Do we have any questions so far, Christopher, before I...
Well, funny you should say that.
Oh, we might. Okay, I can't see him, so...
Mlochran767 on Instagram says, is it possible to make the table mats in 2 different colours?
Yes, obviously yes, but you'd need to buy yourself an extra roll of the Macrame Cord. So when you buy a kit from us, it just comes with 1 roll, 87 metre roll of the Macrame Cord. But if you wanted to purchase another one, you could do mix and match, and you could like make them different stripes. And if you cut the ends really carefully and glued in exactly the same place, you could do stripy ones. Quite like that idea, to be honest. I also thought, when I was making mine yesterday, that you could trap in little bits of embroidery cottons and stuff as well in between. I'd keep it all cotton, maybe. There's something about, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to have anything woolly on my table as a mat. Like, the thought, because...
There's wool everywhere in our house, Gillian.
No, I know.
What
I'm talking about as a table
make?
mat under your food,
What,
on your table.
Like a crocheted
No.
mat?
Well, anything. So Macrame, like cotton is fine. And actually, I'm going to talk to you later, but I've protected them with a waterproofing spray. And cotton doesn't worry me, but I wouldn't want yarn. I wouldn't want like woolly yarn on the... Anyway, I've gone off subject. Yeah, so I was thinking, that's right. So trapping things in. So I'd keep it all cotton, and like you could trap in like cotton, bits of cottons that you've got, maybe different colours going around. Anyway, I hope that answers your question, but absolutely, why not?
And there was another comment here.
Oh yeah.
From Sheila Harris. Yeah. Ironing me? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Well, I remember when you used to iron. I mean, you may not have done it for the last 40 years, 30 years. I remember you ironing in the kitchen. I remember you setting up the ironing board and ironing in the kitchen. Maybe it only happened once. Maybe because it only happened once, I remember it. Anyway, well, you'll be glad to know I take after you, because I never, ever iron. I iron as I wear, if it's absolutely essential.
Now, Patricia on Facebook is asking to see the needle again.
Oh, yes.
So let's try and get a close-up.
Well, I'm going to show you a whole
that.
package of them as well. How's that for?
Okay, well, let's
Yes, go on then. Go to your close-up. Lovely close-up.
I'm just going to make it a
He's
little
just
bit.
focusing to make it extra
I'm
special.
No, I'm just trying to...
Bear with everyone. Oh,
away.
are we in lip synced today? I'm dying to know.
So.
Yes. But there's my little heart that's made from washi tape. That's my marker on the table, in case you're wondering why it's there. What's that got to do with the proceedings? Right, okay. This is the needle that I use for my bullion stitch, okay, which is a yarn darner. Sorry about my dreadful nail varnish. Which is a yarn darner, okay? And these are the yarn darners that we sell, and these are the yarn darners that are in the kit. And I am using, they do go up in size, and I have to admit that I tend to use the 2 small ones the most, which is this one at the end, okay? And of course, when you're doing this bullion stitch, as you'll see in a moment, it's just that you don't want this part of the needle to be too much bigger than the body of the needle because of the stitch, and you're wrapping the yarn around it. Let's go on to it and let me show you what I mean. So I'm just going to start off with the centre of the rose. I've threaded up yellow onto my needle, as you can see, okay? And I'm going to start off with my first bullion stitch. So you come up to the top side of your fabric, your felt, and then you're going to go back down again and up again, and you're going to determine your stitch length by doing this, okay? So my bullion stitch is going to go from there to there, from where the needle goes in and comes out again, okay? And I'm just going to push it through like that. And then I'm going to wrap it around the needle. Now, decide which way around you want to wrap it. I've been thinking about this recently, actually. And it depends on your thread, because you don't... So wrapping around the needle, if I do it this way, I'm sort of unwinding the thread. Can you see that? And you're losing the coil of the thread. If I'm wrapping it round this way, my thread stays far more wound, if that's a word. I don't know. It is a word, but you know what I mean, if that's what I mean. And the stitch will look better because there are my little rounds that are going to go around the thread. And then you want to look and you want to see how many of these little circles, these little rounds that you've got wrapped around the needle, you need to fill up the space between here and here. All right. So your bullion stitch needs to match the needle's length that's gone underneath the fabric on that side. Okay. So from there to there.
Why is it called bullion?
Oh God, I don't know.
Somebody tell us.
I don't know that. You need to Google. Right, so now I've just pulled the thread through all my little rings. I'm holding them under my thumb, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to then pull it upwards and over, okay? And keep pulling and keep pulling. I want to try and get my fingers out the way so you can see what's going on. Okay, and keep this as tight as possible, okay? I'm just going to pull it up a bit more that way. Okay, and then you can see all of my little stitches, hopefully, that have gone from there to there. Now I need to anchor it down. So I'm going to go and anchor it down again and back through. Like so. I've probably made it a bit long actually for this rose. I'm going to do another one here. Maybe I'll do it a little bit offset. Okay. I'm going to go in and up where I want the stitch to be. Let's just bring it over that way a tiny bit. Oops. So in and up like that. Okay. And then I think I've figured out that wrapping it left to right is going to give me the best definition. That's the word I'm after. Definition on the needle for the stitch. The more you wrap, obviously, the longer the stitch will appear on this side, and it might curl round if you make it a bit longer, which I quite like. So I'm just going to put plenty on there. Now this is the point at which your eye of your needle needs to travel through all of the little rounds there. I think I've got it quite clear on there. So now I'm just going to put my finger back over the top and hold it, because I like to sort of keep them neat. And then you're going to pull it up in the air. And then you're going to lay it down. Let's just get that other little bit of yarn, cotton out the way. Can you see how that one's curled, actually? I love that. I love that. Okay, and then I'm going to anchor it down again. Okay. So there's my little yellowy bits in the middle. I just think I should just do one more. Sorry. I'm going to do one more yellow before we move on. I'm just going to pull that a bit tighter as well. I don't want to see that bit of cotton there. Anyway, and then I'm going to go down and up again, I think to there.
Keep on your centre mark, Gillian, please. Keep on your centre mark.
Sorry. Swaying off. I'm just going to go from there to there. All right. So this is why this eye is so important. You don't want a great big fat eye on your needle, because it's going to... Now, when I'm wrapping these around... Oh, look, I've gone the wrong way. When I'm wrapping them round, left to right. Yes, that's it. What I often do is I wrap one and I put my nail on it. Wrap one, nail, wrap one, nail, wrap one, nail. And then it keeps them neatly and in place. Also, I'm just going to go back again. Don't wrap them too tightly. So don't like, right, that was a sound effect. Wrap them around loosely. Okay, loosely. And that will give you a little bit of leeway and make it much, much easier for you to then pull the needle through them. Okay, let's just, there we go. So I'm just going to, again, it really helps to pull this up and upwards, all right, upwards. I'm just going to get in the right position for you. Oh, sorry. There we go, nice and tight. And then you can, of course, get your nail and just like push your little loops around a little bit, okay? And then I'm just going to anchor that back down, like so. All right, so there's the center of my rose. Right, now then I'm very, very messy on the back, and I'm sure any proper embroidery teacher would tell you to do something completely different on the back. But this is what I'm going to do. And I just need to show you these little heart scissors that we sell because they're so cute and it's Valentine's Day, and I just thought, well, you know, let's use those. Right, so next thing. Oh, I've got another thing to show you now. Oh,
There's
go
a
on.
question.
Yes.
Patricia again.
Yes.
Why did you start with the stitch which you now want to hide? Why did you want to... Why?
No. I'm starting with the yellow, okay?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do the pink. Here we go.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do the other pink around the edge. Okay.
And there's another question.
Yes.
Very, very important one from Catherine Keeling on Facebook. She's saying, what was the name of the glue that sticks metal to fabric?
Is she just like jollying you along?
Possibly.
Does she just want to hear you say it again?
Gemtac for all your sticky needs.
Maybe you didn't hear earlier, Catherine. Was it Catherine? Yes, I think so.
Yes, I think she was pulling your...
Was she pulling your leg?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I want to show you something else while we're here. Just as a little bit of an added extra. These things, embroidery threaders, okay? It's made by Clover and we now sell these. They're needle threaders for embroidery thread, which is just a bit of a revelation, frankly, especially when you're live on air. Because if you can't thread the needle, it all goes to pot, okay? So you just thread that through the needle and then you've got this massive hole. And ta-da! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da!
Oh, you've been burned by Martinez.
Eh?
She says, lol, the back is always supposed to be as aesthetically pleasing as the
I know.
front.
All right, okay.
Welcome to the real world, though.
Yes, no, I know. I'm just keeping it real for everybody. Okay, so now I'm just going to start with the pink. I'm not going to do the whole thing here, but I'm going to show you just, this is how you're going to build it up. Build it up. Right, so we're going down, we're going up. And look, the other thing I want to say is, I expect there's people who do this differently. I expect there are other ways of doing it. This is how I do it. Okay, 1, 2. So always like have a look at your stitch length that you're creating, okay? And always make sure you've got enough of these little rings around your needle to cover the stitch length, okay? And then I'm just going to pull those through. And I have to say the yarn darner works pretty well. As you can see, I don't struggle to pull them through. Okay, and then I'm just going to lay down, oh, am I in the right place? My little bullion stitch. So I'm keeping my finger over it, not so you can't see it, just so I can keep it in the right place. Like so. Okay, so there's my next one there. Oop. All right, I'll do one more.
Claire Bosworth on Facebook. Yes, this will get loaded up onto YouTube and other places.
Oh, you asking if you can refer back to it. Oh gosh, absolutely, yes. So I always go down and up where I want my stitch to be. And the other thing that's good is if you don't do them all in alignment, okay? So you kind of make them, what's the word I'm looking for? You start them in different places. So you can see that yellow one is there. So then I've started the pink one halfway down. Overlap, that's probably the word I'm looking for. Not a complicated word. So you want them to overlap. So although I'm starting this one in the same place, maybe I'll just make it slightly shorter so that my next one will overlap. Okay, and I think that makes the rows look more realistic, okay? So that it doesn't look like you're just creating stripes of little petals and that it might be more rose looking. So pulling it through again, pulling it up, okay, and over, oops, and round. Can you see how that looks nice when it's just overlapping the other petal in inverted commas? Because it's not a petal, it's stitch. Has anyone found out why it's called bullion stitch?
No, nobody cares.
But we do know an interesting fact this week, that a collection of wild rabbits is called a fluffle.
Are you sure about that?
Well, that's what.
Have you had any?
Not a falafel, a fluffle, as in fluff with L-E on the end.
Are you sure she just didn't make that up?
Well, it's not
it is our daughter.
Well, I don't
she does have quite a wild imagination.
See what happens when I go around the other way? Isn't that interesting? It unwinds the cotton from the way it's been made. So always just check that when you're starting your stitches, and left to right seems to be the way to go here. All right, so I'm just going to do this one as well. Let's just pop another couple on for good measure so it goes a bit more curly. Bring them through, oops, bring them through, up and over. Look at that, folks. It's coming together. All right, so I'm not going to do the last colour, but obviously you would then do the last colour around the outside. And then what you're going to do is you're going to trim round it, but you're going to trim 2 little leaves at the same time. So obviously that's just done with your scissors. I mean, by all means, draw it on first.
Goodness, are those stealth scissors?
What do you mean?
Well, they're sort of black and stealth-like.
What, you mean they look quite masculine?
Well, they look like they might be like a stealth bomber that
I don't know what you're on about.
Can't be seen by radar. Keep on your mark, Gillian, keep on your mark.
Anyway, look, I haven't done the final layer, but I just want to show you. Just cut your little leaves out. Always cut them too big to start with and then trim them down would be my top tip with that. But that's what you're going to do. And then you're going to create your little leaves like that. Let me get all this gubbins out the way. And then, finally, there we go. You're going to stick it into place with its little leaves. And that, my friends, is all there is to it. Seamless. Seamless. I don't know what you mean about these. They're so cute.
Well,
do you know what?
I'm not saying they're a bad thing.
Sharp.
They just look like they're like black and stealthy, like stealth scissors.
Anyway, they come in lots of colours actually. They come in pink, red, purple, yellow, orange, blue, green.
Oh.
As well.
Oh.
Very sharp. Cool.
Okay.
So that, my friends, is all there is to it. I know. It's an easy one. It's a sticky one. We like those occasionally because it's just relaxing and easy to do. And you can make it with the kids. Well, you'd have to do the bullion stitch, Rose, probably.
Yes, come on. Why has nobody told us why it's called bullion stitch?
No, can someone Google that, please? Anyway, any more questions?
No.
About this? No. Okay. So kits are available on our website. Choice of colours. I actually know where those are. I don't know. Choice of colours. Just add glue. Okay.
Just add glue.
Just add glue. Now, next week is it the 7th of February next week? Yeah, I think it is.
No idea.
Anyway, obviously Valentine's is coming up. I have already done a tutorial on how to make these, but I've just managed to finish our new kit. Okay, so we have a brand new kit, Mexican Hearts kit, okay, that comes with, it's actually really good value. You get loads of stuff in here. You get all of that yarn, okay. You get 4 neon tassels, you get a packet of yarn darners, and you get loads of brightly coloured felt. Get a whole wodge of it, 30 by 23 centimetre squares, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So there's loads of stuff in this kit. If you want to have a go. Now I did do a tutorial.
Don't put all those things back. You're rustling. You're rustling.
Rustle. Have you noticed as well this week I don't have my glasses on because I realised that I wasn't really needing them because I'm short-sighted, and I used to put them on when I looked at the camera and I thought, well, I don't really need to see the camera, do I? So the camera's a bit blurry, but that's fine. What was I saying?
Can I just going back to the placemats.
Oh yes.
Lynn Elmer on YouTube.
Yes.
YouTube. Somebody commenting on YouTube.
Oh,
we
that's
like
good.
it when you watch on YouTube.
Yes.
Because it's betterer.
Yes.
She
Yes.
says, love this. What did you use to waterproof?
Oh yes, of course. Thanks, Lynn. Sorry. Duh. I use Scotch Guard.
Scotch Guard.
No, don't. Oh,
no,
mind you.
no,
yeah, go on.
no.
Scotch Guard for all
Scotch
your
Guard.
waterproofing needs.
No, I've got to come up with a new tagline. Don't want to get wet? Use Scotch Guard.
Oh my god. Okay.
Just off
Anyway.
the top of my head. I'm not in advertising. You might be
Anyway,
able
I
to-
use Scotch Guard Fabric Water Shield. Okay, I did 2 sprays. So droplets now sort of don't sink in. All right. I think you definitely would need to use this.
Is it hydroscopic?
Oh, what? What, this?
Yeah.
What does that mean? I don't even know what hygroscopic means.
Google it.
Are you asking me that?
Yeah, I am.
Why are you asking me?
Well, I'm not allowed to ask questions.
Well, what does it mean?
My question's not valid.
No, it's fine, but don't ask me questions I don't know what they mean. What is hygroscopic?
Repels water.
In that case, yes. Other brands are available, and I did buy another one on the Tinternet. I can't remember the name of it now, but I think this one works better. So I'd go for something like that, and definitely do them if you're going to use them on the table with food. Makes sense. Okay, so
James Glacier wants some stealth scissors.
Oh, well, James, that's very sensible. I mean, they're super sharp. They're good for poking people. Oh, no, I shouldn't say things like that. And yeah.
And invisible to enemy radar.
Oh, God, that's reminding me of that dream I had the other night when I was trying to warn you that someone was going to throw you off a cliff, and every time I warned you, you were invisible. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So new kit, love hearts, Mexican hearts. I'm going to show you how to make them again because we did it 6 months ago and I was looking back at it and it's fab, obviously. But we were in the old studio and our lighting wasn't as brilliant as it is here. And we've I think we've moved on a little bit, haven't we, Christopher?
We have moved on a little bit.
A little bit. So, and also I wanted to show you how to make specifically the ones that are in the kit now. So I will be showing you that again next week. I'll be showing you more bullion roses. Can you just do a little close-up of them, Christopher? Oh, maybe the other one. The other shot.
I like this one.
Well,
You're using this one.
Golly.
Just get over it.
Oh my goodness me. All right, okay. Well, let's put him in the middle then. So I will be showing you again next week how to do it, but using a thicker
Did you make that?
yarn. You know I made it.
Did you?
And then I'm
Very
going to be
good.
showing you how to do the leaves and the little French knots and the blanket stitch. And in the kit you get the tassels already, but I will run through how to make another tassel. But I just thought it'd be good to do it again because obviously it's Valentine's Day soon. And these hearts in Mexico, if you come back to me a sec, these hearts represent healing, love and gratitude, which I just think is, well, it doesn't get any better than that really, does it? We all need a bit of that right now. So healing, love and gratitude hearts is what we're going to be making next week. They don't just have to be for Valentine's Day. I think they're very much an all year round thing. But seeing as it is Valentine's, I thought we'd do them again. I know, look, I did an Instagram poll saying, who wants me to do this again? Who wants me to do something new? And it was pretty 50-50. And I thought, well, I can still do something new, but maybe just the week after. So these are coming next week. If you want to buy our kit for these, there is a limited number at the moment because supply is restricted because of stupid Brexit, okay? So we have a lot of stock, controversial, we have a lot of stock stuck in customs at the moment. So we do have a fair amount of these kits, but I'm sort of like sensing an urgency to get our stock if we want to carry on selling all these things. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But we've plenty for now. So if you want a kit, do not delay would be my advice. And I will see you next week, unless there's any more questions. Christopher, is there?
Let me have a quick scan. No. Oh,
No.
I need mine full of lavender to make me sleep.
Oh,
Harry
very
Curtis.
sensible. Putting lavender in. This kit does also come with the toy stuffing. Sorry, I didn't pull that out the pack earlier. It comes with the stuffing to go inside them as well, but you could certainly add your own lavender. That's a really nice idea, actually, isn't it? Perhaps we need some of that in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, without further ado, any more questions?
I don't think there is.
No, fabulous. All right, well, enjoy your macrame table mat making, and I will see you next week.
Is that it? Are we done?
We're done.
All right, you're going to wave.
Cheery bye.
It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag Fluff-a-torium. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag. It's Gilliangladrag Fluff-a-torium. It's Gilliangladrag. colours.